Oh, hello everyone. Thanks for listening. My name is Kevin, and I'm from Utah. And this video is going to be going over which country is the most totalitarian throughout human history. I got this information going to Google and then AI mode, and that's how this information came about. Sometimes there can be mistakes. I hope those are minimal here, but all right, here we go. While there's no single scientific ranking for most totalitarian in history, North Korea is widely cited by scholars, human rights organizations, and historians as most extreme and enduring example of a totalitarian state, according to the American Affairs Journal. While other regimes like Nazi Germany or Stalin's Soviet Union were arguably as intense at their peaks, North Korea's unique longevity, ruling since 1948, and its absolute control over nearly every aspect of life distinguish it in historical discourse, according to NPR News. All right, leading candidates. Experts typically focus on the following regimes when discussing the extremes of totalitarian control. All right, North Korea, 1948 to present. Often called the pure form of totalitarianism because it combines Stalinist political structures with a quasi-religious cult of personality, known as Kim Jong-ilism and Kim Jong-ilism. North Korea maintains a near total monopoly on information, restricts all movement, and uses collective punishment, where entire families are imprisoned for one member's perceived dissent. All right, another example is the Democratic Cambodia, 1975 through 1979. Under Pol Pot and the Khmer Rouge, the state attempted a year zero reset of society. This included abolishing money, religion, and private property, and forcibly emptying cities into rural labor camps. It is noted for the highest proportional death toll, killing roughly 25% of its own population in just 4 years. All right, another example is the Soviet Union, from 1924 to 1953. Under Joseph Stalin, the USSR, a union of Soviet Socialist republics, pioneered modern totalitarian techniques, including the use of a secret police, also known as NKVD, mass purges of the ruling party, and the Gulag system of forced labor camps. All right, another example is Nazi Germany, from 1933 through 1945. Under Adolf Hitler, the regime was defined by its total mobilization of the economy and society for racial war and the Holocaust. Unlike the Soviet Union, it initially allowed private property, but subjected all businesses and social groups to Gleichschaltung, or coordination, under Nazi ideology. Another example of totalitarian state is Maoist China, from 1949 through 1976. During the Great Leap Forward and the Cultural Revolution, Mao Zedong's regime exercised extreme control over social thought and economic production, leading to the highest absolute number of deaths, estimated to 40 to 80 million deaths attributed to a single leader, according to the American Affairs Journal. Right, defining characteristics of totalitarianism. Political scientists Carl Friedrich and Zbigniew Brzezinski, hope I'm getting that right, identified 6 syndrome features that define the states. All right, 1, an all-embracing official ideology. A single mass party typically led by one leader. All right, a system of terroristic police control. A monopoly on all means of communication, which is the propaganda. A monopoly on all means of armed combat. And a central control and direction of the entire economy. All right, comparison of modern versus ancient totalitarianism. While the term is modern, some historians argue that certain ancient civilizations practiced similar levels of control. All right, the Qin dynasty, famous for legalism, which enforced strict laws and collective responsibility. Sparta, often described as a military totalitarian society because the state controlled every stage of a citizen's life from birth to death to maintain its soldier class and suppress its enslaved population. Thanks for listening, everyone. Remember, I got this information going to Google and then AI mode and then saying what's the most totalitarian countries. There could be mistakes here. I think it looks like those are probably minimal here. At least I know I'm pretty familiar with the dates. but I think there's some good information, and I enjoyed reading this to you, and I hope you enjoyed listening. So take care, everyone.